Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Algebra. In this episode here, we're going to talk about two important concepts that you're going to run into in an algebra class. The first one being inverses. Inverses are basically like what's called a reciprocal. And what that means is you're going to take whatever number they give you and you're going to move it down to the denominator, or vice versa, based on what number they give you. So for instance, the inverse of x is 1 over x, and the inverse of 1 over x is x. Okay? So it's basically like basically putting whatever you're being asked to put the inverse in the denominator or the numerator. So here are some examples here on the bottom. We've got 4, 1/3, and 3/2, and I'm going to show what the inverse of each of these are. For 4, if we follow our formula up here, the inverse of 4 would be 1/4, because it'd be 1 over 4. For 1/3, we would flip it over, and so the inverse of 1/3 would be 3 over 1, or 3. And then finally, for 3/2, the inverse of that, you're just going to flip the numbers, so you're going to get 2/3 for that one. And that's all an inverse is, or a reciprocal. A reciprocal is another word for that. The other thing we're going to talk about in this episode is absolute value. And absolute value is this symbol here. So whenever you have two lines surrounding a value, that means they want to have the absolute value of that. Basically what that means is whatever sign is in front of that value, we're just going to chop it off. And you're going to get always a positive value for absolute value. So here, right, we've got the absolute value of -5. That is 5. That is how many units is in -5, right? It's 5 away from 0. Same thing with the absolute value of 6. The answer is going to be 6, and that's because it's 6 away from 0. That's basically all the absolute value is asking you to do. It turns any number you have into a positive number because it's asking for just the value from 0. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Algebra. I hope you're finding this series helpful and useful, and I'm looking forward to bringing you some more content. See you later.